If you go to just about any basketball court in the world, you're more than likely going to see a pair of Nikes. Furthermore, they're probably going to be named after one of their athletes. LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Kevin Durant, Devin Booker. Sports endorsements in the basketball space from brands like Adidas, Puma, Under Armour have a symbiotic relationship with their athletes. It's not about marketing a sneaker through an athlete, it's about marketing an athlete through a sneaker. And this approach all started in the 1980s with Nike. But even since the early 1930s, rackets, clothing, clubs, even foods were endorsed by America's favorite sports celebrities. Individual sports reign supreme. With one athlete in the spotlight, exclusive focus is on them and, more importantly for the sponsors, their product. A sport like basketball, 10 players running up and down the court, 50% of which are wearing the same uniform, makes it difficult to stand out. By the 70s, this is how NBA sponsorships worked. Find a guy who can put the ball through the net, hand him a hefty sum of cash so he wears your shoe. The more people wearing the shoe, the more it gets seen, and the more likely a consumer will buy them. Essentially, the larger than average foot size of an NBA player acted as a moving billboard. By the 70s, Nike had a few notable players don the swoosh, but they were still an up-and-coming brand. Brands like Puma, Adidas, Converse sponsored a rotating roster of stars to keep afloat, but Nike only needed one. Behind closed doors, their innovative marketing strategy would revolutionize the sportswear industry forever.
Today, live from the Felt Forum in New York City,
Nike found their perfect candidate for a spokesman at the 1984 draft, an explosive young guard out of North Carolina, taken number 3 overall by the Chicago Bulls.
Michael Jordan seems to be the next one up.
Everybody's excited about that one.
Originally wanting to sign with Adidas, Jordan was eventually persuaded by his mother Dolores to give the upstart Oregon brand a chance. Jordan inked a deal worth $2.5 million in October of 1984, an unfathomable sum of cash at the time, particularly for an unproven rookie.
This is Jordan, with perhaps the ugliest shoes in the league. What they're paying him to wear those things, I'd wear them too.
In a league dominated by big names, Nike banked their future on a kid drafted to, at that point, a historically underachieving franchise in what was then a small market and, for what it's worth, wasn't even the number 1 overall pick. Could this be one of the most frugal moves in sports history, or a tragic tale of misplaced expectations? Hello?
Michael got to realize that he's not 7 foot, so he's not going to carry a team in the NBA. I think he will be a great addition to the Bulls. And
Jordan on the drive, can he get there?
Yeah, look, safe to say the gamble paid off. Michael Jordan seemingly possessed a birthright to torch every single team he played. His individual ability, style, play set himself apart from not just the team, but the entire league.
It's reinforced for me and me. Hey, maybe it was made for both of us.
No longer was it about having the most players wearing your shoe, it was about having the best wear it. Each gravity-defying feat of human flight was captured on camera and broadcast to millions of viewers. Michael's play was the perfect advertisement for his new signature Air Jordans. So if you want to be like Mike, you gotta drink your Gatorade, eat your Wheaties, and if you're trying to close that Grand Canyon-sized gap between you and MJ, you're gonna need the shoes.
Air Jordans from Nike.
Due in part to Jordan's play, Nike was now being considered as being reserved for the best, not for those, riding the bench. His highlight-stuffing, air-carving, in-your-face, flashy play was the perfect partner to the loud, brash Nike. The huge logo on the side, bold design, high top, and not to mention the colorways, one of which drew the eye of the NBA.
Is this the shoe that the NBA wouldn't let you wear? Okay, so, but what's wrong with the coloring? What rule do we violate here?
Well, it doesn't have any white in it.
Uh-huh. Well, neither does the NBA.
The league came down hard, and no matter how good you are, you got to play by the rules. Each time the shoes were worn, it would cost MJ $5,000, certainly more than the $80 price they were to consumers. Well, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? You know what? We sold a few hundred pairs of shoes. We managed to get our name out there a little bit. I say we call it a day, pack it in, regroup next year. But that's not what Nike did. Where most would see a roadblock, a defender ready to take a charge, Nike saw a poster.
On September 15th, Nike created a revolutionary new basketball shoe. On October 18th, the NBA threw them out of the game. Fortunately, the NBA can't stop you from wearing them.
Now, this wasn't entirely true. In fact, up until around November, Mike actually wore the predecessor to his signature model. Known as the Airship, this would be the shoe banned by the NBA. Nike flipped this into a campaign for the upcoming Air Jordan 1. The rule was at least 51% of the shoe had to be white. If they changed the model, not only would it cost a bit of money, but it would also make it just as boring as every other shoe on the court. Seeing a unique marketing opportunity, Nike took advantage, paying the $5,000 fine each game and releasing this commercial. Notice how Nike didn't exactly mention why the shoe was banned? Was it the technology? Is it the air bubble that makes the Jumpman jump so high? No. But Nike never told you that. The rumor spread and people started to believe maybe it was the shoes. If you can relate to him, strive to be like Mike, then the Air Jordan was for those who believed. For those who dedicate themselves to greatness. To wear one of his shoes was akin to being knighted by his airness himself. And it worked. Nike anticipated around $3 million in sales in the first 3 to 4 years. In reality, it sold $126 million worth in the first year alone.
Maybe I led you to believe that basketball was a God-given gift and not something I worked for every single day of my life.
Nike did this by not making Michael tell us about Nike. Instead, Nike told us about Michael. And just like that, Nike had dominated the basketball market. But what they did next turned it from a basketball sneaker to a movement. Michael Jordan went beyond performance on the court. The way he carried himself, the way he moved, his confidence and character bled into American culture. Jordans began to be seen as more than just an on-the-court model. Nowadays, it's far more common to see a pair of Jordans on a sidewalk rather than a sideline, and that is due in large part to Nike's encouragement of the sneaker fashion movement back in the 1980s. Enter Spike Lee and Mars Blackmon. Taking place in Brooklyn, New York, Spike Lee's 1986 indie classic, She's Gotta Have It, spawned the character of Mars Blackmon, a fast-talking, hoop-obsessed sneakerhead. Seeing the rising popularity of Nike and Jordan sneakers in the American youth fashion scene, Nike sought out the acclaimed director, who could inject authenticity into a new series of ads.
Yo, Mars Blackmon here with my main man, Michael Jordan. Yo, Mike, what makes you the best player in the universe? Is it the vicious stunts?
No, Mars.
Is it the haircut?
No, Mars.
Is it the shoes?
No, Mars.
Money's gotta be the shoes. Shoes? Shoes. Shoes. You sure it's not the shoes?
I'm sure, Mars.
What about the shoes?
No, Mars.
Money's gotta be the shoes.
Pairing the real-life Michael Jordan with the fictional Mars further ingrained the legend of Michael Jordan in the pop culture and fashion world. Featuring a bold black and white color palette and uniquely comedic tone of voice, these commercials didn't speak down to the audience.
This you can buy. You cannot do this. Can.
Poking fun at the emerging sneaker culture with Mars' exaggerated hyperactivity let audiences know that Nike was in on the joke, spawning the phrase,
Money's gotta be the shoes.
endearing the brand to the audience, and validating those who wore Jordans as a fashion statement. The saying, "It's gotta be the shoes," even transcended pop culture and entered the common lexicon. It's not unreasonable to argue that through these advertisements, Jordan 2 transcended through sport to become a part of pop culture. These commercials and this approach defined Nike's marketing future and forever altered the sports marketing landscape. Narrative storytelling is essential. No longer is making a good shoe enough, the athlete you choose to wear it is just as important. Fans from around the world see it as more than a shoe. It's a statement of who they are and who they strive to be. Nike may have found possibly the perfect sports spokesperson. And instead of making Michael Jordan tell us about Nike, Nike told us about Michael. And that's how Nike changed the landscape of sports marketing forever.